What is up, guys? Pdaaaawg here, and I've got Dose of the DAWG episode 12, but this time it is going to be a bit of a special episode because this is going to be very first three-parter, not all recorded at the same time, because I have done a three-parter before in my Street Fighter videos, coincident, or in my Street Fighter Dose of the DAWG. This one is coincidentally another three-part video, but it's not going to be all at the same time. This is a little special subject I've been doing whenever I'll be talking about Street Fighter Cross Tekken, because I really do want to get into the game. But the thing is, I'm not going to just do a regular Dose of the DAWG or DAWG on Truth on it. Since this game is going to be pretty big, I've decided to do a three-parter Dose of the DAWG. I have mentioned this before in some of my videos, but just a recap for any of you that didn't watch it. This is my pre-thoughts on the game, as well as like the general community feel of the game, and I'm going to be comparing this with the first couple of days reaction to the game. So once I get my hold on the game, I'm gonna maybe do a video, testing out a few stuff. But then after that, I'm gonna make a video probably on the Sunday talking about my feelings on the game, and then like my instant feelings after getting a hold of the game. And then a couple of months after that, I'm going to be doing I'm going to be doing another Dose of the DAWG, and I'm going to be talking about the community, or like how it has lasted over the past couple of months of the game being released and how the game's been treated. For example, like Street Fighter 4, it was doing quite well, and then they announced another one. Marvel was doing okay, but then people realized there was a lot of game-breaking stuff, and then they released a new version of that. So it's going to be interesting what Street Fighter Cross Tekken's going to have. Now, I'm not going to, since this is the pre-one, I'm not going to dive into all the information because Sandman, my friend Sandman Cal, has made a really good video about it. I'm going to link it in the first 2 minutes of this video. So if you want to check out, Street Fighter Cross Tekken stuff, then check out his video. He has like a good 30-minute video on all the details of the game, and I'm not going to run over it because it's going to take too long. But so check him out, and check out the video if you want all the details. But I'm just going to give my thoughts. So, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, a very brief summary of it, is going to combine the two biggest fighting game franchises together into one crazy game, but it's not going to be, since Street Fighter and Tekken have two very different game mechanics, they've decided to make a brand new system, incorporating some of the stuff from both games into it. Like, you have rolling from Tekken and stuff. I don't really play Tekken that much, and I'm just going to admit it right here. But you have stuff like, super arts, which I don't think are in Tekken, and you have, like, like the usual Street Fighter things like the fireball and the uppercut and like the charge moves and all that there. So it's gonna be pretty good. I'm looking forward to it, and I'll talk about some of the other elements of the game later on in this Dose of the DAWG. But first of all, I'm just gonna go over the cast so I can give my feelings on them. Now, I don't have a list of the cast of the Street Fighter. I'm only gonna go over the Street Fighter cast. I'm gonna delve into a little bit of the Tekken cast. I don't really know that much about them, so I probably won't dive into them that much. This is pretty much a Street Fighter. This is pretty much a Street Fighter perspective of the game. So, without further ado, the cast for Street Fighter is Ryu, Ken, Guile, Abel, Chun-Li, Kami, Sagat, Dalsum, Poison, Hugo, Ibuki, Duralento, Zangief, Rufus, Balrog, Vega, Jury, Bison, Jury, and Akuma. I think I just said Jury twice there, but I'm very sorry. But that's the Street Fighter cast. My thoughts on them pretty much. Ryu is just Ryu. Ryu's just going to be a very basic character. He's just going to be a standard, usual go-to character. I'll consider using him on my team, but if it gets a bit dull, because this is a brand new game, I don't really want to be repeating the same moves as I've been doing over the past couple of years as Ryu. So I might pick up a new character in the Street Fighter side. I've already got my Tekken character sorted out, and I think everyone that knows me knows who that character is. Ken might be the same story as Ryu, unfortunately. Some characters like Guile and Abel will be pretty interesting because they've got kind of unique fighting styles, so it'll be very interesting. And the funny thing is, those were like the first four characters announced, like Chun-Li or Balrog or anything wasn't announced. There was like Abel, which is a bit surprising, but some of the characters I'm kind of hesitant about. Whenever they brought in Poison was a bit of an oddball choice to begin with, but then they brought in Hugo, and at first I was kind of like, I don't really want any 360 characters in it. Like, I mean, this game seems pretty rushed down, so it doesn't seem like one that they could let, walk around and just be all laid back about it like a Street Fighter was. Like, this game seems a lot more like rushed down, and you have to I could see like very little team or time limit end to the games. So I thought the 360 characters would have been a bit weird to have in the game, but they brought in Hugo. But at the same time, I said, I'll make an exception for Hugo. I mean, he does have a couple of like rushdown elements into him, like his palm game's pretty crazy and stuff from Third Strike. But then, or was it Street Fighter 3 in general? But then they decided to put in Zangief, and even though I did play Zangief in Street Fighter 4, I'm not very happy that they put him in, because really we don't need two 360 characters in my opinion. Because I mean, if you think about it, like Hugo is pretty interesting in himself, and like if you just kept him in, it'd be like, okay, you have a defensive character in your team, like, or one that should be played defensively. So it's gonna be a very interesting like synergy in your team if you're gonna have like a really laid back character like Hugo in, and maybe put in someone quick like Kami, or I don't know who's quick in the Tekken side, but you never know. So it's gonna be pretty interesting for that there. But then whenever they put in Zangief, I'm like, oh come on, like we don't need another 360 character, despite Zangief being like an OG. It's kind of well, not really OG, but original, I would just say. I mean, you don't really need him in the game. I don't think he's necessary to be put into the game. If you have Hugo in it anyway, like either have Hugo and no Zangief, or Zangief and no Hugo. I'm pretty surprised they didn't put in T-Hawk while they're at it, or Alex or something. Well, Alex would have been pretty good playing a thing because he's not a complete 360 character, but they decided to just put in the like two normal 360 characters, and I'm not very happy with that because it's gonna be a very rushed in type of game, and I don't really like having like two characters like that there. In comparison with that, Dalsum I'm not very happy with, because I mean you could have had some of these other crazy characters like Karen or Rainbow Mika or something like that there, or Elena. Even though Elena's gonna be in the PS Vita version, but let's talk about that later. Like, I mean, you really don't want to have a really zoning character in with like Dalsum, because number one, I think it'd be pretty hard to play. Because I mean, if you're thinking about the whole gaming concept as being like chain combos, how are you gonna get like a rush down character to use chain combos is gonna be beyond me. But I don't know. I'm not one to talk, so I'm not sure what to think about that. Other things, like Vega is a pretty interesting choice because he can actually combo like he can actually do good combos now, surprisingly. Jury is one of my favorites. Jury might be one of the ones I'll be picking up, despite a few of my friends not liking her, and I'm not going to name any names, even though they probably know who they are. Bison is going to be like a normal one. Akuma's a normal one. Some of those characters I'm pretty interested in playing. Seth isn't in the game, which I'm pretty upset about, but at the same time, like I couldn't really expect all my favorite characters to be in the game at the same time. Rose isn't in the game, which I'm pretty happy about because she's another like laid back character. So despite me playing Rose as well, I'm pretty happy she isn't in the game, to be completely honest. Honda isn't in the game, which I found very surprising. Like I always thought Honda was going to be in the game. Ibuki was kind of like a normal, was like kind of like a typical type of choice. Chun-Li was obviously going to be in it. Like Cammy is going to be a pretty good choice. Cammy might be one to be picking up. You never know. Relento will be a very interesting one because we haven't seen him in a Street Fighter game for quite a long time. So it'll be interesting to see him come back up into the Street Fighter universe anyway in this new game. And like I said, Poison's got a very interesting move set and gender question, but let's not talk about that. So it's gonna be pretty interesting seeing Poisons running around. I'm not really sure what other characters there are. Like Blanc isn't in the game, which is pretty surprising. In fact, is he? No, he's not. Blanc isn't in the game. So yeah, Blanca's not in the game. Sakura's not in the game, which I found very surprising. I thought Sakura was definitely going to be one in the game, but she wasn't. Hakan's in the game. Yun and Yang are in the game, so I'm pretty okay with that. Rufus is a pretty interesting one to put in the game. I am quite happy Rufus is in the game. But he's another like rushdown run. Rufus and Bob are like the ultimate fatty team in this game, which I find pretty funny. And I think Borog's the final one, and Borog, he's a normal character you would put into a game, so no surprise him being in it, but at the same time, like, he's another charged character, so I don't know. In terms of the Tekken cast, I'm only going to mention 3 people, and those are the 3 people I'm probably most interested in picking up, and that's Heihachi, King, and Yoshimitsu Yamine. I can't really do his like crazy Namu stuff. Namu, 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 Namu. Like stuff like that. Or at least he did that in Soul Calibur. I don't know if he does it in Tekken because that's how much I don't play Tekken. Yoshimitsu will be in every single one of my teams. I will beat him. I will become the greatest Yoshimitsu player to ever exist, and I don't care what anyone says. I will go to Evo and I will do a one-man team with Yoshimitsu and I'll win the entire tournament because I'm really going to put in work into Yoshimitsu. He's my favorite character of the whole lot. Even all the Street Fighter characters, I don't care. I'm picking Yoshimitsu. Yoshimitsu's going to be my fucking bum chum in this game, and I don't care. I really don't know what I definitely want Yoshimitsu in some Street Fighter character, but still. The only annoying thing about Yoshimitsu, the only complaint I have about Yoshimitsu is the suicide move doesn't actually take damage off him, which I'm not very happy about. But oh well, I can't really complain that much. Yoshimitsu's in the game. I'm happy about it. I am pretty happy about it. I'm very happy about it. And Heihachi is another one I kind of like because he has that crazy rushdown game. And the people have been saying he's really good, but I haven't really noticed that much about him. And King is another like interesting one for me to pick up because he was one of the characters I actually didn't play whenever I did actually play Tekken. So he'd be an interesting one to pick up. Apart from that, most of the Tekken characters I don't really know of. Like Law is one of them I do kind of know of, but that's about it. So I can't really, unfortunately, I can't really talk from a Tekken perspective. If you do want to see a Tekken perspective, like I said, check out Sandman's video at the start of the video and on the description below. I will link it there too. So that's pretty much the cast for you. I don't know who the boss character is going to be. That's going to be pretty good. And one final thing, Ogre is a flippin' rip-off of Seth. Moving on, the next type of game modes that they have are, well, they do have game modes, and obviously you have the regular 2-on-2, you have Scramble mode, which is all four of them all at once, and that's going to be a pretty interesting mode, albeit quite chaotic. So it would be very interesting to see how that mode goes, so, you know, it could be interesting. Like Pandora is well, that's pretty much one of the game modes. One of the other game modes, that's like a game mechanic, Pandora. Another game mode is general going 2-on-2 online, you know, like that, their usual stuff. But then you can also have whenever you go 2-on-2 when you have four people in the game, whenever you and a friend could go on, could like, you know, go and play other people in like the same team. I think that's what happens, and if they do, that'd be a really good game mechanic. Because me and Sandman, me and Overmost Head, I actually called Overmost Heads to be one of my first people that I would play tag with. So I'll be doing that there with them anyway, and I'll probably be doing it with a bunch of other people like Mr. K, you know, like Taz, and a bunch of other people that I can't really name right now because I'm taking a mind blank. So that'll be a very interesting mode that we could do. No, I think that's pretty much it for. I'm probably missing out about 100 of them, but I'm very sorry. But it's not a very good like a pre-emphasis of it. In terms of game mechanics, the general gameplay of it looks very interesting actually. The fact that you can chain combos, go into your launcher, call in your other partner, boom, 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 you know, all that there crazy stuff. So I think that's a pretty interesting game mechanic, and it's set up for a lot of combo opportunities, you know, from wall bounces, from like EX moves and all that there. It's going to be very interesting. They don't have FADCs in this game, or focus attacks even in general. So people say it's a really good thing, but I kind of miss it. But at the same time, you know, it sets up for a bunch of new stuff, so I really can't complain that much. What else? So yeah, that sets up for a lot of stuff. The super arts look pretty cool. Pandora is a pretty interesting mechanic because you can, if you don't know what Pandora is you can sacrifice one of your teammates to make your final character really strong. So like, you know, X Factor, but you don't sacrifice anyone. Or, well, you do sacrifice someone for this, because that'll make it not overpowered. But I think that's a very interesting game mechanic. I was very happy whenever they announced that. A lot of people were a bit skeptical, but I was like, oh yeah, like that's a really good like hype button. Whenever you're like, okay, this guy's gonna die, I've got to, you know, sacrifice him for this next character, so this next character can come out and destroy everyone. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a very interesting mechanic from Pandora. One thing I do find a bit weird is how if one character dies and that's the entire round over. I was expecting it to be a bit like Marvel where both characters had to die before the round ended. But I guess that's how it's gonna work. So we can't really. So once again, can't really complain. It'll be interesting to see how some people will have to like really manage the other person's life bar. So it'd be very cool, and it'd be also very cool, you know, teaming up with your friends and, you know, all the craziness of oh I'm about to die, quick get me out, oh, and then your friend like sacrifices you. Know what you're doing that for? You know, that'd be really cool if they could do something like that there. And finally, the most controversial of them all, the gem system. A lot of people were flipping mad. I was a bit annoyed, to be honest, because I mean, we don't really need gems, even though I got the limited edition and so that I can have more gems. But never mind. But I mean, like, I've kind of grown to like kind of understand them and say, oh well, there's no escape from them. I might as well just, you know, use them. I don't like the idea of like you know, DLC gems. Like, if you're thinking if you want DLC for the game and you're gonna go to gems, I wouldn't really like that. I'd be like, well, you're kind of running out of ideas. You're gonna do that. At least giving like costumes or something or characters. but not for the gems. That'd be a bit annoying. Like, I mean, how many gems could you even put into the game without making at least one gem like really bad, like really broken? So it'd be pretty interesting to see how that's gonna turn out. What else should there be? I don't know. Like I said, combo ability is gonna be like huge. Gem system's gonna be very interesting. Even though I'm still not sure what to think of the gem system. I'll probably get more on that into the actual got my hands on the game analysis of it. So I can't really say much about it now. But some of them, you know, like some of them include like added speed, damage, added like I don't really know, like, you know, I really don't know how some of the gems are, but I do understand like you know, the objective of them, so I can kind of understand what they're trying to achieve from it. So I guess the final thing to just say is the general community feeling of it. I have missed out on a number of points. I'm pretty sure I have, but oh well. So I think the general community feel of it is it's going to be a fun game. A lot of people are going to pick it up. I think this is going to be the new hottest fighting game that's going to be coming out. A lot of people are going to be jumping all over it. So it's going to be very interesting to watch how this game either gets blown up or gets developed, or how a flipping new game will get released, which they probably end up will. I hope they don't though, because if they do, that'd be a flipping waste of money. I don't want to be playing another like 8-month beta. That's all I wanna hope for. I hope they just keep on adding to it with like DLC and stuff, even though there's not many stages in it, which I'm not very happy about. Oh well. So a lot of people are still up in arms about gems. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. You can play with gems off, I think, SFxT said, but I'm not exactly sure. So people are still going to complain. Haters going to hate, even though it's not really directly affected to me, but it doesn't really matter. You know, the gems are going to be, are just going to be there. You're going to have to deal with them. Pandora mode, I don't think that many people have a problem with. The characters, I think, are pretty okay. Like I said, personally, I'm not very happy with having two 360 characters and a zoning character. People are angry there's no Rainbow Mika or no Karen. Karen's the big one, because they wanted Karen and the Bookie Team Skullgirls, or Karen and Sakura. That's what everyone was hoping for, and if the game would come out, but they didn't get it. Oh well. So I really know I didn't really play, what was it, Alpha 3 I think Karen was in, so I haven't really had a chance to, like, you know, play her, so I don't know what all this crazy stuff is about her. Anyway, I think it's going to be pretty interesting. Evo is going to be quite hype seeing this game. I just hope it doesn't get too, you know, incompetitive, because I mean, even though he did get a bunch of games for like Street Fighter 4 or like a bunch of other iterations for Street Fighter 4, it was still hype. Like, you know, Punko defeating Daigo was still really hype. Even though Marvel is just a hype game, you know, it was still a bit competitive in its like first couple of like weeks of it being out. I hope this game doesn't turn out like it, where it's only hype for a couple of weeks and then that's it, like nobody's gonna play it, or they announce a new one. Like I said, I wouldn't really like that. So that's pretty much it for my pre-thought analysis of the game. To summarize all of it, I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna spend a lot of time playing the game. I'm going to be rocking that Yoshimitsu until I die. I'm going to be playing some sort of Street Fighter card. I'm going to be messing around on the day with what characters I feel are the best, or not the best, but what characters I feel comfortable with. I was about to sound like a tear whore there. And I'll get back to you on the first day. These are going to be named 12A, 12B, and 12C. 12A, or yeah, 12A is this one. It's the pre-thoughts on the game. It's going to be day one thoughts on the game on like next Sunday, I think. Not this Sunday, but the next Sunday, and if the games fully came out. And then in a couple of months' time, maybe around Evo time, I will make my final dose of the DAWG on this game, in which I will talk about how the community has dealt with this game and compare it to this here, whenever people are kind of excited for it, but still a bit apprehensive about whether it's going to be a competitive game or not. So anyway, guys, Pdaaaawg, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't worry, I'm going to have some more videos out this week. Don't worry, I'm not. This isn't going to be my only video up this week. I've got a bunch of videos planned. I still need to get to some videos that I originally said I was going to do, but I'll get to them hopefully sometime this week. I'll have a special announcement video around about Friday for a special project I'm involved in, which some of you may already know of, but I don't want to hit the 20-minute mark, so I'm just going to end the video here. Check out Sandman's video at the start of this video in the description. Very informative about the final breakdown of Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Check him out, subscribe to him. He provides all kinds of interesting fighting game news. He's a really good guy. Subscribe, check me out if you really want to. Although I'm guessing the only people will be seeing this video are my subscribers, so there's really no point saying that. But anyway, I don't know why I'm delaying this video further, so I'm just gonna end it here. Pdaaaawg here, signing out. Peace. Peace.